We loved, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
The bromance that we felt was really burgeoning with Prince Harry at the Invictus Games.
Yes.
Do you remember? Now, is it true that he made a bit of a gag about your age?
He did. Well, it was fun. That all came about because Chris from Coldplay texted me once, and he said, "Hey, is it okay if I give Prince Harry your phone number?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, I guess. What does he want?" And so then Prince Harry texted me and said, "I'd like to talk to you about this show we're putting on." So we talked on the phone about the Invictus Games, and he said some of his buddies really love the band. He'd really love us to come play the closing ceremony at the Invictus thing. And I said, okay, our schedule's really tight. Let me see what I can do. And so I called my manager, and I said, let's try to work it out. And he texted me almost every day.
Did he?
To say, like, are you going to play? Are you going to play? Are you going to play? And so I finally called my manager, like, we got to confirm the date, man. I got Prince Harry is texting me all the... And so, so then once we did confirm and we came to meet him, he's the nicest guy in the world. He did such a great thing for all those soldiers. It was so great.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
And, but it was funny because we didn't know how to address him. I mean, we don't know...
It's awkward, isn't it? The protocol thing's really difficult.
Yeah, the etiquette, and so...
You don't get told that in American schools.
No, at all. No. And so when I met, I was like, hey, man, what's up, dude?
Oh, lovely.
And then the next person in line was like, Your Highness. I didn't know what to do, but he was great. He was very cool.
Did he call you Dave? Was it Dave?
I think he called me
David.
Dave. I think he might have called me Dude.
Dude.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Very good.
He's very cool.
Can I have that number when you're done with
Yes.
Yeah, I'll let
Oh,
you know.
yes, good, Gillian. But there is a connection between you two, because we know you played Scully, obviously. But, Dave, you also appeared in The X-Files.
I was obsessed with the X-Files.
Wow.
I don't want to scare you, but I was an obsessive fan.
Oh, I didn't know
Oh, my God. I was
So much so.
obsessed with that television show.
Here you are, right? We've got to...
This is amazing.
Watch carefully, because blink and you'll miss it, but he's the...
I was on the X-Files.
You were there. You looked at a watch that wasn't even on.
Yeah, I didn't have a watch.
It's very... Gillian, good performance, would you say?
That was a 10.
Thanks,
That
man.
was a 10. Excellent.
You get a round circle with a 10 on it.
Great.
Well, Gillian and Dave are with us all night, but Matt is in Coventry with Team Rick.
And a half ago to do some other...
They saw you in the
to
puffer
do
jacket,
shows.
Dave. They saw you in the puffer. They thought, let's get him in.
And so they said, hey, we just stop by the studio and sing one line. And I thought, sure. So I walked into the studio, I sang one line, and it was a final thing for the whole project. It was like champagne was popping, and they're like, yeah.
Brilliant.
And then they filmed that on a green screen. So I didn't see anything else.
Any
that was
of
going.
it.
And then when it finally came out, it just blew my mind because
Yeah.
everybody in the world is in it.
Yeah. Did it go to number one?
What's that?
Did it go to number one?
I don't know.
Only you for
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Well, the rickshaw riders have raised a huge...
I'm just saying, I don't want there to be an atmosphere between
No, of course not.
And we've already mentioned that you're turning the content of the documentaries into songs.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
So basically, we would go to each city for 6 days. We would find a little studio in that city. We'd load our gear in the first night. Next day, we'd start recording. And by the end of that day, I'd go out and interview some people from that city. Then the next day, do a little more recording, do some more interviewing. And by the 5th day, we'd have a song, an instrumental track recorded, and I'd take all of the interview transcripts back to my hotel room and would pick out words and phrases and sentences from all the interviews and put them on this side of my journal. Then this side of my journal, I'd have the outline of the song, and I'd sort of cut and paste them together so that the song is about the episode. And the finale of each episode is a performance of the song that we've been writing, and you recognize all of the lyrics from interviews that you've heard in the last hour. So it was just this idea I had, because after being a band for 20 years, the most important thing is that you continue to challenge yourself and make the process different. And the last album we did in my garage, because I didn't want to make it in a studio, so I pulled the minivan out and I put the drum set in the garage, just to experiment and see how the environment influences the outcome of the music. Yeah. So we did that all over the country this time.
So the first single from the album is called Something From Nothing.
Yeah.
So just tell us then about the place that inspired that particular track.
And that's the first episode of the whole series. Because also in Chicago was the first place I ever saw a live band play.
Oh.
And it was a punk rock band in a bar.
What were they called?
They were called Naked Ray Gun.
Of course they were. Of course they
That was
were.
my favorite band. And so,
Was it Cabaret Metro?
no, it was the Cubby Bear, right across
Yeah.
the street from Wrigley Field. And so I had a cousin that lived in Chicago, and I was this 13-year-old kid, and I went up to visit, and she had turned into a punk rocker. And she was like, well, I'm going to a show. And she took me to this show, and I was in this club that was just like spit and beer and
Oh,
broken
no.
glass, and I'm like right up against the stage watching this punk rock band. And I just said, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Wow.
And it totally inspired me to do it. So the song has to do with that, but also with the stories of the people in the episode. Like
And you interview all sorts of
Loads of people.
incredible people.
I interviewed a
from-
lot of people. I interviewed about 100 people.
And you interviewed Obama.
I interviewed the president, yeah. He's pretty cool.
Were you a bit nervous?
To interview the president?
Yeah.
Well, we'd met before because our band's played at the White House, and we've done a couple of those Kennedy Center things. And he's so easygoing.
Is he?
That he...